Good morning everyone. This video is part 2 of chapter 7, Things Around Us. Today we will study about habitat. What is habitat? Habitat means a place where an organism naturally lives and reproduces. Habitat means a dwelling place. That means home. Habitat can be categorized into two categories: terrestrial habitat and aquatic habitat. Terrestrial habitat. Animals that live on land, they are said to be living in terrestrial habitat. Examples of terrestrial habitats are grasslands, mountains, forests, etc. And the animals that live in water, they are said to be living in aquatic habitat. Examples of aquatic habitat are ponds, lakes, rivers, oceans, etc. A habitat contains both living components and non-living components. Living components are known as biotic components. For example, animals, plants, microorganisms. And the non-living components are known as abiotic components. Examples are soil, water, air and light. So, we have studied that a habitat contains both living and non-living components. Living components are known as biotic components and non-living components are abiotic components. Now we will study biotic components in detail. Biotic components are the living components of the habitat. Examples are plants, animals, microorganisms. We will start with the plants. We know that plants make their own food by the process called photosynthesis. Photosynthesis takes place in the presence of sunlight. There is one green color pigment called chlorophyll is found in leaves. This green color pigment called chlorophyll present in the leaves, it traps sunlight. In the presence of sunlight, plants, they take carbon dioxide from air, add water from the soil and prepare their food. This reaction produces glucose and oxygen. The oxygen is released in the atmosphere and glucose, this is the food of the plants. So, let's revise again what is photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is the process by which plants make their own food in the presence of sunlight. Chlorophyll is a green color pigment that remains present in the leaves. It traps sunlight. In the presence of sunlight, plants utilize carbon dioxide taken from air and water from the soil to produce their food. The glucose, this glucose is the food of the plants, and the oxygen produced as a result of photosynthesis is released in the environment. We know that we breathe in oxygen and this oxygen is released by the plants in the atmosphere. I hope till here it is clear. Now we will study about the animals. Animals depend on plants or on other animals for the nutrition. The animals, herbivores. First we will see herbivores. Herbivores are the animals that eat only plants or plant products. For example, cow, buffalo, deer, rabbit, etc. Next is carnivores. Carnivores are the animals that eat the flesh of other animals. For example, lion, tiger, etc. Next is omnivores. Omnivores are the animals that eat both plants and the flesh of other animals. For example, crow, bear, dog, etc. Now we will study scavengers and decomposers. Let's see what are scavengers. Animals or birds that eat remains of dead animals are scavengers. For example, crow, vulture, etc. Scavengers are very important because if they do not eat dead animals, what will happen? Dead matter would pile up and it would emit foul smell and it would give rise to many diseases. So, scavengers help in cleaning the environment by eating up the dead animals. Scavengers are also known as natural cleaners. Next is decomposers. Organisms that feed on dead and decaying plant and animal matter are called decomposers. Examples are bacteria, fungi, etc. Decomposers are also very important. Decomposers, they decompose the decaying and dead and decaying matter. Decompose means they break down the dead and decaying matter into simpler substances, which forms humus. Humus is the organic component of soil. It contains many nutrients, and humus increases the fertility of soil, which is very important for the growth of the plants. Like scavengers, decomposers also help in cleaning the environment because they also feed on the dead and decaying plant and animal matter. They also clean the environment by eating up the dead matter. So, scavengers and decomposers both are very important. They help in cleaning the environment. Now we will study about the abiotic components. Abiotic components are the non-living components of the habitat. Examples of abiotic components are water, soil, air, light, etc. Abiotic components that are very important for the survival of living organisms. Let's see how. First we will start with the soil. Soil is very important. Soil is very important for the plants and living organisms also. Let's see how. Soil provides support to the plant by holding the roots of the plant. Soil holds the roots of the plant. So by holding the roots of the plant, it provides support to the plant. Soil is important for the growth of the plants because plants get water and minerals from soil, which are very important for the growth of the plants. Third is, soil provides shelter to many organisms like small worms like earthworm and many small insects, etc. Between the soil particles, there are pores. The air trapped between these pores, it helps plant roots and these small organisms to breathe. Soil is very important because soil is important for the growth of the plants. And we, animals and human beings, we are dependent on the plants for food. So, soil is very important for all the living organisms. Now we will move on to the next. Now we will study light. Light is also important for the living organisms. Plants prepare their food in the presence of sunlight by the process of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis process cannot take place without sunlight. And without photosynthesis, plants cannot make their food. So, light is very important for the plants. If sunlight is not there, then plants cannot make their food. So, plants prepare their food in the presence of sunlight by the process called photosynthesis. So, for plants, sunlight is very important. And we, human beings and animals, we are dependent on the plants for our requirement of food. So, light is important for plants, human beings and animals. And light helps animals to maintain their body temperature. Light also helps animals in maintaining their body temperature. So, we can say light is very important for the living organisms. Air contains oxygen and carbon dioxide. Living beings breathe in oxygen. This inhaled oxygen is utilized to break down the food, which produces energy. So it is because of the inhaled oxygen we are able to get the energy from the food that we eat. Second is, plants use carbon dioxide for preparing their food. We have studied in the process of photosynthesis, the components required are water, carbon dioxide and sunlight. So carbon dioxide is very important for plants. It helps plants in preparing their food. So we have seen that air is very important for the living organisms. It is very important for the survival of living organisms. And the last abiotic component is water. We know that without water, living organisms, they cannot survive. Water is very important. Without water, we cannot survive because water is required to maintain the body functions. And water helps in removing the toxins from the body in the form of sweat, urine, etc. It is the water which transports the nutrients to the different parts of the body. So water is very important. And the aquatic animals, for them it is habitat. And the aquatic animals, they breathe in the oxygen that is dissolved in the water because aquatic animals, they are not exposed to air. So they breathe in the oxygen that is dissolved in the water. I hope till here everything is clear. Let's revise once again. Habitat contains both living components and non-living components. Living components are known as biotic components and non-living components are known as abiotic components. Abiotic components examples are soil, water, air, light, etc. Abiotic components are very important for the survival of living organisms. Here the chapter is complete. Thank you.